In the sweltering spring of 1842, beneath the oppressive humidity of Colleton County, South Carolina, a decision rippled through the elite like a thunderclap. Plantation owner Eliza Hawthorne announced he was surrendering his reclusive daughter, Eliza, a 29-year-old woman, burdened by 270 pounds from years of debilitating treatments, to the absolute dominion of an enslaved man named Solomon Reed. Not as caretaker or servant, but as her master, in all but name. The white gentry of the county recoiled in horror, whispering of scandal and ruin. Little did they know, Hawthorne's act masked a deeper desperation, and what Solomon would unleash upon Eliza over the coming months would defy explanation. By October, her body had transformed beyond recognition. 12 influential men lay dead, and Blackthorn Manor burned to cinders. What unholy pact had forged between the slave and the master's daughter? What did he do to her that chilled every soul who glimpsed the truth? Before we descend into this abyss of forgotten shadows, subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your state in the comments. Now, step back with me to where the darkness took root. The low-country air hung thick as molasses that April, the Combahee River slithering through endless rice fields like a serpent's vein. Enslaved hands waded knee-deep in murky water from dawn's crack until dusk's mercy, their labor the unseen engine of fortunes built on broken backs. Blackthorn Manor sprawled across 900 acres of fertile black soil, its owner Eliza Hawthorne clawing for a seat among the aristocracy. He commanded 62 souls in bondage, wealth enough for most, but middling in a world where titans held thousands. Elias had wed Margaret Voss in 1810, inheriting modest acres and a name that opened doors. She was a ledger keeper at heart, more kin to profit than pageantry, until childbirth claimed her in 1813, leaving Eliza behind. For nearly 3 decades, Elias molded his daughter in isolation, tutors her only companions while he schemed for power's inner sanctum. Eliza, by 1842, was a ghost of her girlhood promise. Swollen, volatile, her frame ravaged by calomel and laudanum doled out for female hysteria. Seizures racked her. She hurled vases, once slashing her father's forearm with scissors. Society pitied poor Elias and his lunatic girl, blind to the trauma at 11 that shattered her. Not madness, but the raw echo of witnessing abominations. On April 5th, a courier delivered sealed vellum stamped with a crescent moon pierced by thorns, the sigil of the Veil Wardens, a cabal of 12 planters who communed in midnight rites, blending pagan lore with hoodoo whispers from the enslaved. They held that devouring the week's essence fortified the fertile earth. Elias joined in 1820, enduring 50 ceremonies of escalating horror. The missive demanded $14,000 for his debts, gaming and ventures gone sour, enough to shatter his empire. Sell land slaves, oblivion. Instead, yield Eliza to an enslaved man's rule for a year, proclaim it publicly as therapy. The shame would strip him bare in a culture idolizing white womanhood. Comply, and debts vanished. Brethren bolstered his rise. Elias brooded till dawn. Ruin or disgrace? Society's creed. Property trumps flesh. 1. He signed. Days later, instructions named Solomon Reed, 34, carpenter healer from Georgia. Docile. Unmentioned. Solomon's vendetta. His kin torn asunder by Elias years prior. He maneuvered south, sail by sail, to infiltrate this viper's nest. April the 12th. Solomon arrived in Trader Amos's cart, straight to the big house. Elias eyed the towering figure, 6'3", corded muscle, scarless back, steady gaze piercing like judgment. Eyes like a free man's, Elias muttered. Quarters, isolated cabin. Charge, Eliza, alone. Alone. Solomon unveiled a frayed cloth. Names inked by tiny hands. Lydia, Josiah, Miriam. Wife and babes sold by Elias to a Georgia hellhole. All perished, fever, lash wounds, despair. Not for need, but to impress the veil wardens with heartless proof. 2 years Solomon stalked south, piecing their secrets. Now vengeance brewed. Not swift blade, but patient venom. April 13th dawned. House slave Mira escorted him upstairs. Miss Eliza's storms rage today, she warned. A porcelain shatter answered her knock. Venomous slur. No more poisons! Solomon entered the gloom. Fetid air thick with mercury rot, chaos strewn. Eliza slumped fireside, robe filthied, face bloated, tremors endless. Who dares? Not a doctor, Miss Solomon! Your father bids me mend you. Laughter cracked. Mend? Lies, chains, silence, she lurched. Punishment, for remembering the crypt below. He stilled. What to forget? Her guard cracked. The rites, the feasts of flesh. Pulse raced, face stone. No, miss. Exhaustion won. Liar, all lie. She collapsed. Begone! He flung curtains wide. Light stabbed, she shielded. Outside lately. Too frail. Eat sans laudanum. Doctor's decree. And if doctors err, if poisons chain you, silencing cellar truths. Silence stretched. Clarity pierced fog. He confessed. Saw signs myself, miss. Calomel swells, laudanum dulls, no accident. Suspicion lingered. Why aid? Trap. To free your mind, for my score with Elias. Sanity arms you to accuse. Truth landed. Revenge on father. I sold my blood, wife, son, girl, to prove his steel. Dead for his sport. She nodded. Eyes sharpened by hate. Veil wardens, you'd learn soon. Heal me, she whispered. Then, strength to strike together. I crave their screams. Father, Magistrate Voss, Preacher Hale, all, torment first, then oblivion. Thus dawned their war. Herbs weaning toxins, valerian soothing, dandelion cleansing. Agony first, fever, wretch, shakes. Solomon tended ceaseless. Tremor ebbed, gaze sharpened, steps steadied. Diet purged sweets for greens, meats portioned. Eliza shed pounds, mind a whetstone. Talks unveiled horrors. At 11, cellar spied. Vivisection, cannibal rites. Gaslit to delirium. Hidden codex chronicled all. Whispers grew. Eliza's cure unnerved the house. Elias's gaze darkened. The veil wardens stirred. The board was set. By the last days of April 1842, the change in Eliza Hawthorne was undeniable. She moved with fire in her step. Not the shambling wreck the county mourned. Tremors lingered. Mercury scars etched her eyes, but the laudanum veil had lifted. Elias saw. His gaze sharpened like an overseer's whip. How much poison left in her? He cornered Solomon on the veranda. None, sir. Herbs purge it clean. Fits. Rare. Weak. Eliza smiled blankly at her father. Perfect mask. But inside, the cellar's screams clawed free. Night fell. In her room, candlelit pages sprawled like entrails. Your code. Solomon traced symbols. Crescent, thorns, blood drops. 16 years of eyes, Eliza hissed. Nights. Father slipped out. Guests in shadows. Crunch from below. Bones, not supper. The ledger. Black leather beast. Every cut, every feast, every name. In the cellar's root. Hidden door behind stained stones. Her sketch trembled. Stairs, altar, false wall. May 14th, Charleston trip, Solomon said. 2 nights, she answered. Copy, then burn them all. Not run. Massacre, she spat. Their root rots us first. Days dragged beneath Elias's hovering paranoia. At last, April 29th, carriages swarmed Blackthorn, silk gowns, smug faces, tables sagged, oysters slick with sin, duck fat glistened. Eliza sat at father's right, corset biting. Solomon shadowed, ears afire. Miracle, Hawthorne, Magistrate Voss smirked. Slave doctor? Tools serve, Elias grinned. Post-feast, glass tap. My burden lightens. Solomon claims her fully. 1 year. Eat, walk, breathe by his word. gasps. Your blood? Health demands it. To Eliza. Agree. Spotlight. She could shatter them. Name the butchers. Instead, demure nod. Solomon, kind. Guests fled, whispering scandal. Elias gloating. Veil wardens pleased. Her door. Solomon slipped in. Eliza at window. Moon-mad eyes. Done. Your chattel now. Cover, he growled. They sleep fat. Box opened. Codes decoded. May 14th. We dig the root. Outside, fields stirred. A slave glanced up. Eyes met Solomon's in dark. Whispers spread. May 14th, 1842. Arrived under a sky bruised with storm clouds. The air electric with the promise of rain that never quite fell. Eliza Hawthorne departed at first light, his carriage rattling down the oak-lined drive toward Charleston. His manservant, old Tobias, rode beside the driver, casting one last wary glance at the manor before they vanished into mist. Inside Blackthorn, the house exhaled. Eliza and Solomon waited until nightfall. By 10 o'clock, the big house slept. They met in her room, dressed in dark wool, boots muffled with rags, lantern shuttered. "You are certain of the map?" Solomon asked. "Every stone," Eliza replied. "Follow me." The descent began in the kitchen pantry. Behind the shelving, a panel blended with oak wainscoting. Eliza pressed a hidden latch, a knot carved to look like natural grain. Click. Stairs pitched steep into blackness. The smell struck first. Wet earth, old wax, and something sweet and cloying, like meat left too long in sun. 23 creaking steps, packed dirt. The cellar stretched 30 feet square. Stone walls wept moisture. In the center loomed an altar slab. Heart pine scored with dark grooves feeding iron drains. Shelves sagged with wax-sealed jars. A rack of black robes trimmed in thorn-red silk. Solomon's breath caught. This was no root cellar. It was a temple. Eliza moved like she had walked it in dreams, tracing a seam in the far wall until a quartz knob yielded. Click. A hidden section ground inward, revealing a 10-foot sanctum. Fungi glowed sickly green in corners. At the center sat the ledger. 2 feet tall, 18 inches wide, bound in near-black leather, iron clasps etched with crescents and thorns. Solomon opened it. Vellum rasped. Entries from 1799 onward. Multiple hands clinical as surgeons. March 12, 1805. October 22, 1827. Hundreds. And there, 1839. His family, Lydia, Josiah, Miriam, reduced to ink. Rage rose like bile. "We take it. Burn the manor with them inside." "No!" Eliza's hand clamped his wrist. "Steal it now, they know instantly. Copy the pages, names of the living 12. Victims we can trace, then reseal." They worked in fevered silence. 30 pages transcribed, names and dates, offerings and rites. Hours bled. The air grew fouler, as if the ledger exhaled guilt. At last, they slid it back, clasped it shut. Eliza reset the stone, grind, click, leaving no trace. They ascended before dawn, hearts hammering. In the hall, a shadow detached from the dark. "Mira, I saw," she whispered. The door, the light. Solomon tensed. Mira lifted a palm. "Not to tell master. My boy, taken 2 winters past. Ran to swamps after a late-night gathering." Eliza studied her. "How many others?" 7 in the quarters. More from neighbor fields. They listen when a white girl speaks truth. Solomon's jaw tightened. "Any news of Elias?" Mira swallowed. Overseer Grimes bragged to the cook. "Master returns early. Tonight. Watching you both." Ice lanced Solomon's spine. Eliza's face hardened. "Then we move now." Thunder finally cracked overhead. Rain lashed the windows. And beneath them, in the cellar, something had shifted. A single page, loosened by haste, lay on dirt, ink up, tomorrow's entry dated May 15th. Below it in fresh scrawl, "Intruders anticipated. The root protects its own." Outside, wheels on gravel, Elias's carriage, earlier than planned. The trap was already sprung. They did not get a second night. Lanterns flared in the outer cellar, brighter, multiple. Footsteps rushed down the pantry stairs. Eliza Hawthorne filled the breach, flanked by Voss and Hale, and 4 more shadows behind. "Impressive," Elias drawled, eyes glittering, the root's sanctity breached by my own blood. Eliza stepped before Solomon. "Charleston delayed you." "Feigned," he sneered. "Your bloom reeked of treachery." I circled back, watched, anticipated. "You poisoned me for years for this." Eliza's voice was steel. "To bury a child's truth. Necessary," Elias said. "You glimpsed the sacred at 11. Could not fathom. Would have unraveled us. I saw you feast on her thighs," Eliza spat. "Goblet raised. Sacred. Simplistic." Elias advanced. The men sealed the exit. "Upstairs," Elias ordered. "Council decides." Locked in Elias's study, panic clawed. Eliza palmed the copied sheets from her bodice. "Unsearched. Arrogance. Won't save us from pyres," Solomon said. "My blood buys time," she whispered. "He hesitates killing kin." Carriages arrived. More voices. The veil wardens converged. Months passed under a net pulled tight. Eliza vanished from polite sight under a story of convalescence and transfer north, while in truth she was kept close, shifted between rooms, watched, threatened. Solomon was worked hard, shadowed harder, baited with proximity, with promises, with a rope always waiting. He played broken, mapped patrols, measured men, listened for cracks. Mira wept for kin, lost to harvests. Brutal Tom swung hammers, not whips. Anger moved through quarters like a storm-gathering charge. Elias waited for the season his brethren believed most potent. October 2nd, 1842, near midnight, Elias invaded Solomon's cabin. "Tomorrow you fold in, understand? Terms clear," Solomon said. 44 years unbreached," Elias hissed. "Guilt mutual, power absolute. Join. Fortunes bloom. Refuse test. You and she perish." He leaned closer, voice a blade. "Philadelphia. Facade. She's here. Plotting. Fail. And she's meat." Solomon swallowed ice and nodded. "I grasp," he lied. October 3rd, 1842. Witching hour. Solomon was dragged cryptward, stripped, bound. 12 hooded men formed a candle-haloed circle. Elias stood altar-crowned. "Brethren," Elias proclaimed, "unprecedented, foe-made kin proves dominion." A sacrifice was hauled forward. A girl, 17, gagged, thrashing. "Your cut proves gains worth over qualms." Knife. Chant swelled. Shadows wavered. The blade was pressed into Solomon's palm. Her eyes begged, not just for herself, but for every vanished soul. Solomon seized the knife and pivoted. Throat slash. The nearest zealot dropped in a red rush. He yanked robes, smothered candles, plunged the cellar into chaos, pandemonium. Soft men flailed. Solomon was forge-tempered. He grappled, smashed, shattered knees, crushed skulls with iron and rage. Above, another sound. Many feet. Eliza had endured. She had not fled. The quarters had hidden her, and she had allied 25 wraiths. Kin consumed, vanished lost. Axes, scythes, mauls rose in hands that had waited generations. The girl's muffled scream became a bell. They poured into the cellar like judgment. No quarter. Voss fumbled a pistol, pulped. Hale begged, silenced. Fanning fled, dragged back. Elias seized Eliza, blade to her throat. "Cease, or she bleeds!" The room froze. "Do it!" Eliza dared, eyes bright with ruin. "Lost already." Elias hesitated. That was enough. Solomon closed the distance. "Took all," he said, voice hollow. "Grinned as you sundered." "Please," Elias mewled. "Mercy yours?" It ended. 12 illusions shattered. Cruelty, circled back. "Now," Eliza whispered, shaking with release. "Burn," Solomon answered. Oil was poured, pyres stacked, the ledger set like a throne. Solomon tore free the pages, naming his dead, ours, and then flame kissed the rest. The manor roared into an inferno. They watched from the edge of the fields as blackthorn devoured itself. By dawn, only embers remained. "North?" Eliza asked. "Network," Solomon said. "Escapes we weave." "Me too," she replied. "Stolen hoard funds rebirth, but truth endures." Officially, a tragic blaze claimed Eliza Hawthorne and 11 notables. Eliza perished roombound. Honors, silence bought, but whispers endured. Masters pyre night. A woman and a man who made a plantation kneel. 1864. Soldiers unearthed tunnels, swamp bones, right glyphs. War swallowed the story deeper. 1973. Demolition yielded a sealed tome. Decoded horrors, then vanished. Known. 12 elites. Ash 1842. Eliza, ghosted. Solomon, a phantom trail. Truths burrow, not perish. Power crumbles. Memory endures. Witnesses wield the deadliest blade.